The Surfing Violinist presents November Novelty, Surf Vlog 35. The dredge at St. Andrews State Park is finished. I'd heard tales of the new Sahara Desert feel, but still wasn't prepared for how far they managed to get this sand out. This is the most sand I can remember seeing in my lifetime at this stretch of beach. To put it into perspective, here's my best approximation of the length of beach after the dredge versus before. This is not even 75% accurate because the sand was actually even closer to the overlook before the dredge, and it's just my best guess as to how far out it is. But one thing is sure, the sand is covering what used to be our inside surf spot, meaning when, if we would ever get a wave, we could be in for some serious shore break hijinks. Well, just a little more than a month after our October surprise swell, we were in for a treat. Greetings, lords and ladies. It's the Surfing Violinist with your Wednesday, November 15th midday surf report. The surf has filled in. I saw the first whitewater sometime around 11 a.m., I'm thinking, on the second sandbar Calypso cam, and I saw the first wave caught on a cam at the city pier, and it looked like I literally jumped from totally flat to head high. That's a head high wave. Dude didn't make it, but yeah, that happened in less than an hour. I just came out here to the state park to see Cam Sadowski, trying to catch some little novelty runners. We just rented some wetsuits to Drew down the line and some of his friends. So he was out there trying to find some. It looks really challenging. Him and John Hazelwood are out there trying to skim it. It's doable, but like the angle of the beach is weird. Like it's hard. There's like a little cliff you have to jump off of or something. I don't know how you can do it. But novelty waves at the park. Cam pulled into a couple. Looks kind of fun. It seems like further west can be a little bit better, but the drift is insane. So yeah, suit up. The wind is super cold, man. Even if you can handle the water, like the wind is super cold. I'm going to be suiting up when I go a little bit later. So I might send you another update in a bit. Until next time, this is the Surfing Violinist. And for Daddy Surf, Mr. Surf's over now. Almost as soon as I posted that report, it jumped up even more, and if you were patient, on the right equipment, and quick enough on your feed, there was more than just split-second novelty tube views on offer. Daddy Surf got pics of Cam on waves that really started showing the potential of the new spot. While I was at work handling a new shipment of Zap skimboards, this Whip V2 looked quite pretty, by the way. Cam, Dayton, Benny, and Jonathan were finding a lot of waves. Yeah, if I could skim good, that would be really fun.
I've never seen a short break this big.
Right. Are you coming out here or what? Okay, cool. All right, I'll see you out there. Once I got off work, I picked the Hypto Crypto and reported for duty, which apparently meant blowing takeoffs, getting hung up, and purling to faceplant. I wondered if I needed more rocker, but was so demoralized with my performance, I decided to get some water shots. It was pretty fun to see these little slabby tubes, especially when the backwash hit them just right. During my tiny tube filmer session, I met Benny, who was definitely finding more face and view time on his traditional shortboard than I had been on my Hypto. I thought maybe a board change couldn't hurt. I had just rewaxed the old Weber Nick May had given me in August during my Pensacola excursion, and after paddling back out with Roman Shirley, I did much better the rest of the evening. Zach Mandeville was making sections on his soft top that I was sure would guillotine him or send him side-slipping to backflop, but he displayed remarkable poise. Buxton was bragging about his magic board for the smaller size of racing backside tube, and I was surprised when he flipped it over to reveal it was a single fin. The standout performance was unquestionably from our neighbor to the west, Dylan Sims. The majority of us were caught in a rat race just trying to make takeoffs and sections, but Dylan was surfing, displaying superior wave selection and wave sense. He was finding turns and making tubes. I did find some fun waves. My first one was right after the board switch when a wave with a bit more bend came right at me, slingshotting me sideways into the longest wave I would catch during the swell. I got some short-lived views here and there, and then not long before sunset I was in position in the middle of the lineup for my best setup. I once again wasn't all the way in, but my back foot heel got pitted for sure. So day one of novelty tubes at the park was a lot of fun. This was my first set of sessions in my brand new Excel wetsuit. I went a size up and got the XLS, my first 4.3, and I have to say that extra room in the wetsuit along with the extra millimeter made me the most comfortable I've been in a wetsuit in years. The next morning I didn't even leave the water for over 5 hours. Normally I'm shivering by the end of hour 1. On that morning of the 16th, when I walked up, Corleone was snapping pics of Aiden and Manny, and I may have walked up right when this moment happened, which I'm putting as best picture taken during the Novelty tube sessions off of this swell. I set to work on my Hayden miscellaneous and got back into the rhythm of getting left behind. Manny, Corleone, and I were mostly getting pitched or stalled, but even Aiden had his share of wipeouts. Nonetheless, it was Aiden showing the most poise and quickness. I saw that Justin was a bit further down the beach, so I decided to join him and see if that particular corner was providing the racing lefts it had the prior evening. Aiden's spot was more peaky, with a better chance of a make, but some of the swing-wide racer lefts had been larger, and the allure of that elusive wave that would connect all the way through was worth the ones that were too speedy. Sure enough, Justin had found his way into a racer runner in which he was totally dry, but the exit just wouldn't let him approach. Eventually, Aiden, Manny, and Corleone made their way down to our corner. Aiden went for everything, no matter how low a chance of make it offered him. He got some phenomenal views, came close so many times, and while I do think he made a few completions, I was not in the right place to document them fully. The best angle I got of Aiden was preserved by Joey Knight. Joey was also on the scene when Cody Redmond showed up with his DJI and got this shot of me. My pig dog is just not there, almost looks like I'm kneeboarding, but this is the first time I can think of a wave being documented by these 3 angles simultaneously. Novelty tube photobomb inception. During the 2 days at the park, I would say that Justin secured the Wounded Wave Warrior award, busting his elbows and nose of his board along with numerous trouncings to every other body region. I was probably second place in that department, honestly. I broke another GoPro mount. I fell on my formerly dislocated shoulder, and while it didn't pop out, it's been bothering me the most it has for 10 months, and I cut my foot, I know not how, and of course now it's infected. But there were plenty of wipeouts to go around. We all paid our dues. Mike Wynn got to add to his wipeout reel on a wave that perfectly synced with backwash for maximal frame-grabbing potential. After Justin left on day 2, I hung around and saw Jason Tuno, one of my 5th grade students in my short-lived teaching career, who is now a successful filmmaker and just recently resettled here. We shared a few, even though by then it was almost totally dead. For the first time in months, I was able to stare at the horizon without my mind buzzing and just enjoy the beauty of this sport we love so much. R.O. Smith showed up and snagged a few pics of me trying to milk what little energy was left. He even got my bashful exit. To our surprise, it wasn't long before we got a second shot at Novelty tubes. The very next Tuesday, November 21st, the tiny tubes were back on tap. I brought the GoPro, suited up this time, and got fins for a bit more mobility. The water was beautiful. I'm a sucker for these super slow-mo shots, even of tiny tubes, and seeing the way the lip impacts play out above water and below water. Of course, that's Cam, who we'll get to in a minute. But this is Chuck Prothrow, who was the first to lead the charge on longboards. He was making takeoffs on the inside, and then on a lark he decided to see if he could catch one of the rare crumblers on the outside. I didn't get the beginning of it, but he not only caught the wave, but connected it all the way to the inside, easily securing the longest ride of the day. Lib got in the mix, along with Zeke and Paris Janos. But it was Cam who was on a mission to find the elusive dry barrel. While most of these tiny tubes are pretty to look at, and we ogle at how thick they sometimes appear, finding one that actually opens beyond almond shape that doesn't close out is rare indeed. But Cam was on the trail and he threw in a few maneuvers while he waited for the best opportunity. He got many a complete tube view to cover up to punch through, but he saw what the rest of us couldn't, and after many attempts he finally found it. So congrats to Cam for the perseverance, and thanks Daddy and Mommy Surf for paying for this video session. It's rare to be able to get video of our best surfers when it's firing, mostly because we all want to surf or because we have to work. So I'm glad, finally, that I got another session in the water with Cam, especially on these kinds of waves that are perfect for his skill set. I was seeing the occasional right tube that was really tempting, and this one took the cake, baptizing me and my GoPro with the most tube spit I've encountered in a wave of this size. So when I did get off work, I had to come back and see if I could find one. But for this session log, I'm going to do something different and give an account of some of the waves I caught that evening. The crowd was thicker than expected, and having that punchy right tube spit on my mind, I thought I might try to find that right. So I set up a little further to the west of the peak, hoping for the occasional right, and I found a couple. Wave 1, I go right, get one pump in, half-ass check turn, kick out, completed ride. Small, non-set wave, speed marginal, power negligible, flow mediocre, maneuver below average, style a little bit hard to determine from first person, but I don't like what I see my right arm doing. That's a negative. This is a 2. What scoring system am I using? Call it the Surfing Violinist custom subjective scoring system to quit looking like a velociraptor having a seizure. Oh, Ford, you're being too hard on yourself, am I? Because this is an angle that John got from the beach of a later wave. Thank you, John, for this angle. What am I doing here? What is this? What am I doing with my elbows and my shoulders? This is unacceptable. And that's why I've built in a style penalty along with a progression bonus and charging bonus. Even at the qualifying and pro level, I notice style being overlooked, and I think it is the most important part of surfing. Like, style is glaring when you see skateboarders, even when they're landing maneuvers that are really impressive. In surfing, it's even worse. We're supposed to make the wave look good, and if we're not, then I don't really know if we deserve the title surfer. So, this is my preoccupation with this vlog from the beginning. The whole purpose of this vlog is to improve my style and my flow. That's what this scoring system is going to attempt to do. Also, this is making me realize how bad my bottom turns are. I'm just doing everything off the back foot, the effect of which is turning a bottom turn that should be generating or conserving speed into a stall. So this is very telling. Wave 16, finally get a turn. Still not happy about the setup or placement of the turn, but it's complete. Unfortunately, there's a double raptor elbow feature right at the end. Style comes back to bite me. Still, best wave of the session so far, 3.3. All in all, I surfed pretty poorly. The waves weren't great, but I did not rise to the challenge of finding the diamonds in the rough. Best performance I witnessed was Jay Carvalho, who managed to milk a few turns out of a shifty, peaky session. Some of his buddies also put in way better performances than me. You win some, you lose some, but that's the purpose of this vlog, to keep it consistent, even if the surf isn't. So Godspeed until next time. Come check out these tiny tubes at the park. It's fun. It's not always predictable. It's a good exercise though. To see these videos early without ads, join the lineup here on YouTube. You just need a YouTube account, and for $1.99 a month, you click this little join button and sign up to get early and ad-free access to 4 monthly vlogs. The surf vlog, the violin vlog, the Masala vlog, and the family vlog. Thank you very much.